to team members and make it a regular broadcast for them. I said, what product do you want to talk about first? Out of all 13 of the ones that we're coming to market with, which one do you think would be the best to start with? And what did you say?
I said the NeoPRO Daily Probiotic.
Okay, and why did you choose that?
Out of the thousands of formulas I've made, I have the most experience with probiotics. When I started in the industry, probiotics were really taking off, and it was just a huge hot button. And almost every one of the customers that I was dealing with wanted a probiotic manufactured. So really got into it very deep, and that's probably what I have the most experience with.
Awesome. Well, I like that answer a lot. Feel most excited about this for a lot of reasons, and I know we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to thank all of you team members for sending in questions that we could take to Derek today. That helps inform, what is it that people want to know about this, and we're the front line of those questions, so thank you so much. And one of the questions that makes sense for us to ask first and foremost is, what are the benefits of a probiotic? Like, why would anyone choose to use a probiotic?
So a probiotic really goes down to the essentials of healthy living. We all have right around 5 pounds worth of probiotics in our guts right now. Trillions and trillions of bacteria. Most of them good, some of them bad. And it is that homeostasis, it is that the balance of the good to the bad that gives you proper digestion. Those are the critters that digest your food and send the nutrients through your intestinal lining to the rest of your body. So if you don't have a good balance of good bacteria in your guts, you're going to experience immune deficiencies, immune problems. You're going to have poor health. The symptoms you could have from bad digestion, it's unending. Not just diarrhea or upset stomach, but it could be even depression and poor mood and lack of energy, bad sleep. It really all starts. Good health starts from your digestive system.
Awesome. Now, is there anyone who shouldn't use a probiotic? It sounds like that's pretty applicable to most people, but is there anyone that shouldn't use a probiotic?
I've been thinking about this all night, and there's really not anyone I can think of that shouldn't use a probiotic. It can benefit anyone. There's formulas. I've developed formulas for infants. It's as low as 2-month-old,
Wow.
all the way up to 90 years old, elderly probiotics. Now, I will say there is a difference in what you should look for in those formulas based on age. When you're say under 12 years old, you're going to want a probiotic that is higher in the bifidobacterium count to the lactobacillus ratio. As you age, your body is adapted to the lactobacillus type strains, and you can kind of switch that around. So as you get older, then you're going to be focusing more on your lactobacillus as the lead ratio in the formula. And then as you grow even older, say 60 plus, your body kind of reverts back to that infant-like stage internally, and you will look for probiotics that favor the bifidobacterium strain again. So kind of interesting how that switches around.
That's fascinating. And some of that sounds like Spanish to me. I don't know about y'all. I love Spanish, but I also love ingredients and science talk, and I'm glad that Derek is the one that we can rely on to know all of that good stuff. I want to turn, though, to your questions, the team members' questions that were sent in, and recognize everybody who did that. We're going to be drawing a name for a free NeoPRO at the end of this video from all the people who turned in questions. So thank you for that. And we'll be doing that every time we have a science chat. So be prepared for that. And we'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. But first question for you, Derek, from the field. What makes our probiotic product different than what can be bought at naturally based stores like Whole Foods or Sprouts or like that?
Well, unfortunately, at stores like Whole Foods and Sprouts that are the naturally based stores, there's not a lot of difference in what you can buy for probiotics there versus what you can buy at Shopko, Walmart, Target. They really all sell the same brands. Now, Whole Foods is kind of known for their 365 value branding line, and I think you can even buy that at Walmart.com. Now, just speaking in a general sense, NeoPRO Daily Probiotic has countless benefits when compared to what you can buy on the shelves of chain stores and online. We use delayed release capsules, so it is targeted delivery. You do not want a capsule to break up in your stomach acid because the stomach acid will destroy the living probiotics. They have to get to your gut alive. The strains that are in a formula are very important. Are they generic strains or are they clinically studied strains from validated research foundations, companies, partnerships? Where do those clinical studies come from? Because there are a lot of clinical studies out there that come from the College of Malaysia or something, in an unaccredited place. So. Yeah. Where are these coming from? The strains that we use are clinically studied American strains, very acid resistant, so they are naturally made in acidic environments to help them withstand the body's acid, lower pH. So the strains that we use are absolutely top of the line. They have clinical studies behind them for digestion and weight loss. The fillers in a formula are also very important to look at. The probiotics are enhanced when you combine them with a prebiotic. You'll hear a term in the industry called symbiotic, and there is this symbiotic relationship between the probiotic and the prebiotic where one enhances the other. So a prebiotic will really help the efficacy of a probiotic strain. And it acts as their food. You can eat good food or you can eat bad food, and we use a good prebiotic food for the probiotics. We use a clinically studied prebiotic called Sunfiber. It was the first FDA-approved soluble fiber in the world, and it has amazing studies behind it for prebiotic use as well as intestinal benefits. So that's another thing to look at. A lot of the stuff on the shelves in the stores, they will use corn maltodextrin, they will use rice starch, rice flour, just maybe potato maltodextrin, maybe nothing. Low-grade foods, low-grade prebiotics designed to cut cost and really don't help the probiotics lifespan and don't really help the probiotics extra benefits, or it doesn't give them extra strength, pretty much. Then you have to look at packaging. Most companies out there will just use a straight, cheap white bottle, sometimes glass. We use a patented or patent pending bottle that is specifically made for probiotic. Probiotics die when they get in touch with moisture. And a lot of places will just use a simple little desiccant, silicone desiccant packet inside. We went a step further, quite a few steps further actually. We have a bottle that has the entire inside made of a desiccant sleeve. So it really just sucks up all of that moisture in the bottle when it's closed and drastically improves the probiotic shelf life.
Wow.
So all of those things are the differences between the NeoPRO Daily Probiotic and what you'd find anywhere else.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear that. Now, we talked a little bit about age before. Another question that came from the field is, at what age would you start using our NeoPRO?
As soon as you can take capsules, is perfectly fine. So I would recommend, ages 12 and up
Okay.
would be a good time to start taking a daily probiotic.
Okay. And the capsule needs to, like we said before, stay intact. Some of our capsules you can break apart with our other products, but this one needs to stay intact.
No, not necessarily.
Okay, tell us
You
about that.
could open this capsule up. Say if you wanted to give this to someone under 12, you could open up the capsule and dump it into food. Now, if you dump this into water, this particular sun fiber will not dissolve. There's two
Okay.
grades of sun fiber. The one in here is strictly the non-dissolvable type. So if you do open up a capsule and sprinkle it on something, it's just not going to dissolve in a liquid, but you're perfectly fine doing that.
Okay, great. Another question sent in was, what's the difference between a probiotic and an antibiotic?
So a probiotic is a living organism. It is a single-celled creature. It is a little bacteria. An antibiotic is a poison to a living microorganism. So when you're taking a probiotic, you're ingesting live bacteria and replenishing the bacteria that is already in your intestines and already colonized. An antibiotic is designed to kill microorganisms, and they don't care what it is, whether you have strep throat or a sinus infection, anything. An antibiotic is going to kill those things. It is not a living thing. An antibiotic is poison for those living things. So pro is living. The anti death.
So is there a benefit then to being on a probiotic regimen even when you have to take an antibiotic for another condition?
I would say, now I'm not a doctor, so always ask your doctor for advice.
Even though you have a white coat.
Even though I've got a white coat and look the part.
Yeah.
I would personally recommend, if you're on an antibiotic, it is especially important to be on a probiotic, because your antibiotic is, it's killing your infection that's in you, but it's also killing all of the good bacteria in you as well. So you really do want to replenish that.
Okay, great. It's a great question. Another great question that came in: should you do some sort of a cleanse before you start using a probiotic like NeoPRO?
Using a cleanse in any program is just a good idea. Just to clean out your insides, replenish any sort of microflora, balance that might be lost or not in alignment. A cleanse is just a good idea to do at any time. You do have to be careful about what type of cleanse you're doing and the time frame that you're on, because you don't want to take a cleanse every single day for multiple weeks. Right. Ours is designed for a 1 week use. So yeah, a cleanse is a good idea all the time. It is not absolutely necessary. Just take a cleanse before you get on a probiotic. No.
Okay, great. How does NeoPRO affect leaky gut? Another great question sent in.
Another thing that, again, speak to your physician about. Leaky gut syndrome is technically not a medical diagnosis at this time. But what it does refer to is the intestinal lining has, the intestinal wall, really, it has this lining. And that lining's job is what to let through into the bloodstream. What can pass successfully through? What should be blocked? Leaky gut is sort of attributed to a weakness in an area of that lining where stuff is being let through into the bloodstream that shouldn't be. Right. So probiotics are one great way of trying to support that intestinal wall because the probiotics, are digesting food, and those nutrients are being passed through, and those nutrients, if delivered properly, can definitely help strengthen that intestinal wall. So a good clean fiber, like our NeoFiber, that will also support that intestinal wall, and in turn support symptoms of leaky gut, diarrhea, IBS, abdominal pain, bloating, gas. The list goes on and on for the symptoms.
Okay, great. Another great question, and the one we're going to end up on for today, is what other Neogenics products should be used with NeoPRO to enhance results? So you just dropped the fiber name, but what else should people use, or could they use, to complement what's happening with NeoPRO?
All of them. To do a really good complement with the NeoPRO Daily, the NeoFiber, just getting the right fiber in your system. I mean, there's already, like I mentioned, the Sun Fiber is an amazing prebiotic, and that's really the main ingredient in NeoFiber. It's almost pure sun fiber. We added some theanine to it to help the brain-gut axis. So there's a little bit more benefit than it used to have, the older version of the formula. Then, things like a good multivitamin, like our NeoVite. That would be a great enhancement to the NeoPRO. Getting the proper nutrients in there and helping your digestive system out and giving those proper nutrients through that intestinal wall into your bloodstream, so you can gain all those benefits. Looking at the wall of all the products.
Well, we have some systems that include the NeoPRO, don't we?
True, yes. We have our NeoCore weight balance system, and that's going to have the NeoPRO Daily in it. It's also going to have our NeoShake, which is an awesome protein shake for weight loss and daily energy. Then you're going to have the NeoTrim, which is the non-stimulant weight loss capsule that you can take, well, really any time of the day, but I recommend taking it like an hour before your supper. And then, let's see, what else is in, I'm trying to think. Well, I mentioned the Neo Cleanse earlier. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I know you guys may have some other questions that have come up since Derek shared a little bit about NeoPRO, and we want to invite you to send those in. You can put them in the comments of our Facebook Live right now as you watch it, either now or later as a recording, of course. And then you can also send your questions into our email address, which is support@neogenics.com. For now, we'll say thanks so much for being a part of Neogenics, and we look forward to being with you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See ya.